अलख निरंजन अविनाशी मैं, अलख निरंजन अविनाशी.
You're talking about the tradition of the Nath tradition. Is Dattatreya, who wrote the Avad Gita, a part of that tradition?
Technically, no.
And what is the Avad?
Dattatreya was a very high initiate of the 10th century. Some say he is an incarnation of Shiva, some say he is a manifestation of Krishna. He is a 9th or 10th century avatar and of a very, very high stature, totally liberated being. We have very, very scant historical reference of Dattatreya, but he is very popular in the state where I come from, Maharashtra. So they have a lot of Datta tradition. They belong to the tradition of the Lal Pujaris, the Red Padre tradition. And he is one of the highest Buddhas. And he is tried to channelize and liberate a sect and a group of people known as the aghors, the aghora yogis, who are indirectly connected with the Nath Yogis but are not the tradition of Nath Yogis. They tried to make him the guru of the Nath Yogis, but this is totally false and misrepresented it in the Nath tradition. There is no tradition of Dattatreya. It is Lord Shiva as Adi Nath, who is the supreme guru. Then his energy is Shakti known as Parvati Nath, Udayanath. She is Parvati Nath. And then it comes to Matsyendranath, Jwalendranath, Gorakshanath, and all the 9 tradition of the great immortal beings, the great Buddhas of compassion. But he does seem to have been connected at some time or the other, but the true Nath Yogis do not believe that he has any connection. They have tried to sort of put him in the tradition of Nath Yogis, but he is not. Next question.
I've always been under the impression that the path of Tantra was also considered a path of yoga or a path to enlightenment. Is that not true?
Yes, it is. The path of Tantra is definitely a path of enlightenment, and the path of Tantra is a path where not the will is used. It's very subtle. The let go is used in that. Not the will is used. And Tantra has its aspects. It has the right hand path, the left hand path, and the middle path. The white Tantra, the black Tantra, and the grey Tantra. So Tantra is definitely one of the important processes of the path to enlightenment. I do not know how they understand the Tantra in the Western world here, as they have had many readings. They've had many readings and many books have been written about Tantra, and many theoretical scholars have written in toto in Tantra, if you want to see that. But I don't think they give the inner spirit. I mean, reading a Tantra book from Abhinava Gupta will give you a totally different flavor rather than read it from a translation from Georg Fierstein. He seems to be the person who's doing a good work and giving you the outer shell. That's all he can do, and he's doing a good job. You can't go deeper. For that you go to Abhinava Gupta, or you go to the great Mahaguru of the Abhinava Gupta who started it. It is the Nath Yogis who started it. It is Matsyendranath. Because before the great master, an incarnation of Shesh, he says, I salute Matsyendranath, my Guru, before I start this Kularnava Tantra. Or whatever Tantra the Rahasya Abhinava Gupta gives. I don't know whether you've heard of Abhinava Gupta. If you haven't, then you better quickly get to that book, because it's the source of all Tantra. You've heard of the Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, which Shiva says to Parvati, the Vijnan Bhairav. So these are 2 books you must have. Kularnava Tantra by Matsyendranath, the Vijnan Bhairav Tantra. Otherwise your foundation is shaky. So please get to that and start studying that as fast as possible. Because all these other tantras will come later. After the great Vijnan Bhairav, which is the source from Shiva and Parvati, the other tantras. A lot of Buddhist tantras have been mixed into the tantras, and the tantra in India and Buddhist tantras have been mixed up. But the fear in the Buddhist tantras is only one: they cannot pronounce the Sanskrit words properly. So therefore, for the mantras in tantra, a tantra actually requires three things: a yantra, a mantra and a tantra. These three make up the process. So the yantra is your body, the mantra is the sound, and the tantra is the energy which connects the sound to your body. The mantric sound of the tongue connected to the yantric body form the tantra. So the mantra and the yantra are necessary for the tantra. Then there are tantras which can be done left path, right path, singularly with partners. They now tell us that America has started a new system, they call it the dyad system, D-Y-A-D, dyad or dyad, how do you pronounce it?
Dyad.
Dyad. But that's, I would dismiss it as humbug and bosh, because America did not start any dyad system, because in the first dyad system was started by Shiva and Parvati themselves. Or Adam and Eve started it. I don't know where Adam and Eve, which county they belong to. But because the dyad system is of the first dual system of coupling and working scientifically for spiritual growth is by Tantra. Matsyendranath. It's one of the oldest methods. It's not a thing of dyad system here started day before yesterday. It was started long back, where two partners were used to evolve their spiritual selves. Yes?
What do you think of tantric sex?
Tantric sex? What do you think of eating a meal? I don't give it much importance. It's a way of life, so why make much ado about it? It's very normal, it's very natural. If two partners come together and they are agreed, why should we jump in the middle and say, hey, we are crusaders of the world and we are the only ones who wear white clothes and we have come to save you? No, it's none of our business. It's a well-formulated science, and I think that the woman is a great power and an energy in the life of man. Just today in the television I read, it's nothing to do with so scientific or higher stage as Tantra, but very normal, very first stage. They have found out that people with men who are married invariably live longer. They've taken statistics all over the world. Men with partners live longer than single men. That means they get the support of the energy of the Shakti. The man supports her with his confidence, she supports with energy, and they live a more glorious and graceful life. It is more graceful to live as Shiva and Shakti rather than live as Shiva alone or Shakti alone. It was not meant to be that way. I think they were born to fuse. He for God alone and she for God in him. And a man reminds a woman where she should go and takes her there. And a woman reminds man where he came from. And the man reminds woman where they should go. So he is born from her and he leads her to God. So it's a cycle. So he reminds her of the source. She reminds him of the source of this birth on earth. He reminds her of both their source as birth in heaven. So they're both right. The birth of consciousness and the birth of body. So she represents the Mayak aspect, the three-dimensional aspect of earth, mother, circadian rhythms. He represents the Shiva and the Purush aspects of the ultimate finality. She represents the phenomena of life, and he represents the nomina of spirit. And so the cycle goes on. Therefore, Tantra is very good if done with the proper type of reverence for one another as God and Goddess. Next question.